player Precious Mthembu continues to win on and off the court. She was recently appointed as the chairperson of the Athletes Commission and under the KZN Sports Confederation Additional ESCO. She joins us today to chat about her recent appointment and the development around netball in this country. Hi Precious, how are you?
Hi Koketso. Thank you so much for having me on board. And yes, hopefully you're gonna have a good chat to each other and just, embracing and talking about the sport itself, netball of course, and how much has changed my life. And hopefully it's busy at the moment, as we speak, changing other people's lives.
Oh, thank you for actually making time for us. So yeah, let's just get into it, okay? Firstly, congratulations on your recent appointment. But please explain to us, what does your position as a chairperson of the Athletes Commission entail?
Right, so basically I'm the KZN Athletes Commission at KZN, so that means I will be breaking the gap between the two, which will be the athletes and the exco, which is the committee. So for instance, if players need their voice to be heard, obviously they will pass that to me. And also, like for instance, if a certain code is going away on a certain competition, if the athletes are not happy about their bus, about their accommodation, we'll obviously pass it over to the committee and making sure that everything is run smoothly. I mean, at the end of the day, athletes need to perform well wherever they're going, and for them to be taken care of, it starts from small things such as being on time with the bus, safety reasons that needs to be followed. And also, if an athlete needs psychologists, athletes need certain, gym for them to perform well. Obviously, that's my job really, is to try and break that gap between the two, athletes. Sometimes we always think as athletes we are the enemies, or the committee is the enemy of us, but so I'll be really communicating well with them, passing on the messages. Obviously, I won't be able to cover everything on my duties, as I have my own job at the moment, but I'll try my best to follow and make sure everyone is happy.
All right, so you basically the communication between the athlete and the committee.
Yes.
Okay.
In KZN. The only problem is
Sure. KZN. And now, it's still early, it's a recent appointment, but what changes and improvements are you planning to make under the KZN Sports Confederation Additional ESCO?
You know what, there's so much talent in KZN. There's the athletes of, there's such a big range and just depth of great athletes. And, at the end of the day, we need to make sure where all these athletes go to. We need to make sure where to get these athletes and to look after them. That's the most important thing. If an athlete is not looked after, if they don't have the support group and, the basic things, they die out. At this moment in time, with the society of girls getting pregnant, boys going back to drugs and all that, they just drop out of sport because of not getting that support from around the certain areas, communities. So my job is to really communicate with federations, captains, managers, obviously, and not jumping the protocols, just making sure that everyone's happy within their roles and everyone's happy within their codes. Just drawing down the basic things, making sure that everyone's got what they're supposed to have. So I'm really excited about this job. It's a big milestone for me, being on the other side of the table and also being an athlete. I know what it feels like not to get what you're supposed to get. I've been through a lot of tours, I've traveled a lot. I've stayed in conditions where, as an athlete, I don't think I would deserve to be there. But you know what, we pull through. But I think now time has gone and it's about time, we don't keep quiet. And if things are not going well, we vocal about it, but it's how we do it. Not violently. There's channels that need to be followed so things can be done appropriately and obviously successfully, so everyone else can be happy. And not forgetting that there's budgets also involved with this whole, whatever that needs to be done. We cannot just expect every single athlete to get laptops or data can be that lucky. So there's budgets that goes in place. There's proposals that needs to go in place. So I think we come from a long way. We athletes are looked after. In my time when I was young, I mean, we never had such things. So it's a good initiative and a good move for kids A-level.
Yeah, okay, that's good. And you mentioned that this was a huge milestone for you. Another milestone you had was winning the Diamond Award from Danville Park Girls High School. And you mentioned that it came as a surprise to you. I'd like to know, why did you think it was a surprise? Why was it so surprising to you?
You know what? I went to Danville Park Girls High School. I was given a scholarship there. I never paid a single cent. The school really, really took care of me. They paid for my uniform, school uniform. If I needed a pay, I got a pay. They paid for my matric dance, for my dress. So for me to give back was to make sure that I play the sports for the school. I'm a big role model for the other students in the school. But the school has produced so many athletes, so many the girls who do cultural, so many good teachers who've been there for 30 years and more. That's why when I said I was shocked. I mean, we've had students who've been in the top 3 in the country academically. So, it's kind of like, I did get a shock. So, it was really special for me to get that award. And, it was really for other students to create that goal for themselves and create that image of seeing themselves get that award one day. When they leave school, they don't just leave school as themselves. They leave school with a name behind them that says they come from Danville. So it was really special for me to get that award, and I really want to thank the Danville family for that. And I will make them proud even when I'm 500 years old.
Okay, that's good. Now, with all of these achievements that you've had, the Diamond Award and the recent appointment as chairperson for the Athletes Commission, how would you sum up your netball career to this day?
Wow, where do I start? You know what? I think I'm heading to a stage where I can write a book about my netball journey, about my sports journey. As you know, I wasn't only involved in netball. I was also a national basketball player. So I've been involved in quite a number of sports. So when I started as a young girl, I was in a rural area called KwaZulu-Natal, in Durban. I mean, there was no sports really, there was nothing. So all I did was run. I was a runner, good runner. So my mom was a domestic worker. And then so employees decided to bring my sister over to Durban. As a young girl, going to a school, multiracial school, not knowing how to speak English. And not knowing how to say, please can I go to the toilet? So I was still in class up until break was there because I didn't know how to say, can I go to the toilet? As simple as that. But, when I first touched the ball in primary school, Virginia Prep, I couldn't believe what the exposure I had after I was taught within a month of playing netball. And that's where it really, really started at Virginia Prep when I was given an opportunity to be exposed in a lot of sports. Actually, I was given a scholarship to go on a tennis course. I was the only one of the black girls who was in the swimming team. I was in the KZN softball team. I was in the volleyball team. I was involved in a lot of sports, and that's what really has helped me throughout in general. So that's where it started. I started playing KZN under 11, and since then under 14, under 16, and 17, under 19, and playing for the seniors for quite a long time. And then I made my debut in 2006 in the national side. And I really, really can look back and say netball has really changed my life drastically, my journey, and and I'm hoping that someone one day will follow my footsteps, not obviously directly, but take the journey that I've taken using the sport, using netball to change my life. I mean, my mom wouldn't be able to afford to take me to all the national tours. I did the techies, the school provided me with that because they knew how much value I had in the team and in the sports team. Things for accommodation, how much it costs to travel. So You know, I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and obviously to God for giving me the talent that I'm able to do everything that I can.
Yeah, you have such a strong athletic background. I mean, you played basketball, you played volleyball, you had a tennis opportunity, you started running. Where did the love for just athleticism or athletics start?
You know, it's natural. It really comes natural in me. I can pick up a cricket ball and just play cricket. I can play golf. I can, you know, I played with boys most of the time when I was young, but obviously not with the actual sports. But I really told myself that I'm going to lose, or I don't be, you know, I don't lose or not be able to do something. I need to try something for me to, you know, back off. So obviously I needed to take a route of focusing on one sport, which was netball, and I really loved the netball community more than obviously all the other codes, and you know, the amount of exposure that it has given me. And yeah, it really comes natural for me to do different sports, but obviously I had to do more for me to know which channel I needed to take.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about 2023, the Netball World Cup that South Africa will be hosting. I mean, what does this mean for the advancement of netball in the country, for us to be hosting such a major international event?
You know what? This means we are on the map. We're doing something right as a country in netball. You know, speaking about Australians, New Zealand, the English, you know, it really means we are counted amongst the best in the world, not just on court, but on holding the World Cup. We do have the best, one of the best facilities, the best provinces, Cape Town, that's where it's going to be. And also, you know, the turnaround, I think it went well when we went to the last World Cup, when the girls played exceptionally well, leaving a mark there within the World Cup, led by Mthembu, the captain. I think we're ready as a country, we're ready as Netball South Africa, I would say. And it's pretty exciting to bring the cup over here and, you know, bring everyone else. And most players have never been to South Africa, so it will be the first time. It's just nice for other countries to come this side. We've been traveling all the time. We're always going to Australia. We're always going to New Zealand. We're always going to England. So, it's, you know, it's the time to come and see what Africa is like and what South Africa is like. They always ask questions like, so do you have elephants in your backyard? Like, no. And then we're like, and monkeys? Like, no, they're monkeys. And, you know, they ask drastic questions. I think for them to come here and see for themselves and not hear about the people will be quite nice. And, you know, and obviously on all other things, economically will be quite good for us to hold the World Cup. And I really think we're ready under the leadership of my mom, Cecilia.
Okay, that's cool. I like the fact that we're giving other countries an opportunity to see what we have to offer. You know, you're right by the fact that we're always traveling. We are you know, one of the most teams to travel around the world. So I'm glad we get the opportunity to actually show the world what we are like. So now, what can South Africa do to ensure that we run this major tournament smoothly?
I think the first thing is obviously I hope the pandemic will be totally over by the time, because the best thing is to play in your home ground for the girls who will be in the team with crowd around, you know. I think it probably won't be the only time. You never know when the World Cup will come back again. You know, we always go to England and, you know, the stadium is always filled with the English people. Go to New Zealand and so on. Obviously, this mine, you know, like probably 50 people from South Africa. You know, it's quite nice for us to get the crowd firstly, and so the pandemic will just go away. And then obviously, I think that the basics will obviously be the courts, stadiums being ready, the team. I think we really have a good young players coming up. They will represent the country and just putting the team and the country on the mark, making sure that obviously the accommodation is good for our visitors. You know, we need a lot of volunteers to make sure that everything runs smoothly, the people are friendly, making sure that, you know, our visitors are safe, you know, they're feeling safe. So I think we've got all of that. We really tick the boxes, and I think we wouldn't have got the hosting card if we didn't tick all the boxes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, South Africa, we all know that our netball in the country is quite top tier, if I do say so myself. Okay, so now with all that you've achieved and all the insight that you've had, what advice would you give to young people who hope to be like your following footsteps?
You know, Koketso, education is as much as it's vague, it's cliche, but at the end of the day, that's what really falls back into. You know, I grew up thinking I will only just play sports. Someone asked me, what do you want to be one day? I said, I want to be a sports star, you know? Yeah. So when I was given a scholarship to study, you know, every year I'll do 8 modules. Sometimes I wouldn't finish them because I have to travel, go to Australia, I'll go overseas. And then, you know, I'll go back to the desk of my boss and say, I can't do this. I don't want to study anymore. She's like, you need to do it. You need to do it. And now, you know, not knowing that, what if something happens to me? If I'm injured and I'm out of the sport for the rest of my life, will I have something to fall back on? And you know, I think education is the key for all the young players. You know, we can motivate the girls. We can say anything. That's exactly what I'm doing now with my development team, the young girls that I train. You know, going to school is important. Even if they come to me once a week and talk about life skills and social lives and how they're doing at school, that's what I know for myself, that I've ticked that in the box. So, you know, finding the right clubs and the right space, right support group around them, and that's really going to allow them to, you know, go in the right channel. I could really say education is the key. It's you know, there's nothing really to, especially being a woman in South Africa. The sports that we play are not professional. Some are professional, so you can't sit at home and say, I'm a golf player or I'm a netball player. You need to do something on the side. You know, so you need to have an income yourself. You need to feed your family, look after your family at the end of the day. So by doing that, we're just playing sport because we love, we're passionate about it. And you know, it's something that we can do simultaneously while we study and work.
Yeah, it must be really hard though, you know, I mean, male athletes don't really have to worry about having 2 jobs, you know, it's for them, it's
used to it.
Exactly. And then for female athletes, you have your sport and then you have your other job. It's really hard.
Yeah, yes, but you know, nowadays it's easy because of the exposure we're getting. I mean, our games being shown on Super Sports, that's more than enough. We just love that. So we're just grateful for such smaller companies and that are actually turning their heads towards women in sports.
Yeah, and then speaking about exposure, you know, I mean, G Sport exists because we're here to elevate women's sports. I mean, do you have any advice for us? What more can we do, or what can we implement to elevate it to a high level?
You know what you're doing is enough. I've seen the recognition you give to women, you know, for their achievement, for being who they are. That's really what it is about. You know, the women here have been themselves. For them to get an award with nothing in return, it's such a good feeling. And you know, us as women, that's what we want. That we want to, we want, you know, we want to be exposed and be thankful. And you know, so it's such a great initiative to recognize and expose young women and old women and the women who are just not in sport itself, but also doing the management side. So it's encouraging all other women to keep doing it. So I really think at the moment in time, we just need to be grateful for G Sports. We can't really point and say they need to do this and that. That's my personal side. You know, I think it's enough what you're doing. I think for me, it's just to continue doing it and not stop. And because it's wide. There's no particular angle you're hitting literally across the board. And what's really nice, and you know, we're really learning about other codes and other people that you've never heard in our lives, and they're actually out there. So thank you so much, G Sports, for doing this. And it's not just a physical thing, but it's also a social thing for us to know about all these great women who are doing well for themselves globally.
Yeah, thank you for your kind words. We really do appreciate it. I mean, we exist because of athletes like you, you know. Yeah. And last question, where do you see netball in South Africa in the next 5 years?
At the moment, I'm coaching the national under 21. I'm assistant coach. And the talent that's there is incredible. We've had a camp last year where we had about 50 girls, and it was so hard even to cut down the team to 30. In fact, tomorrow I'm coming to Pretoria with a national camp to cut down the team a bit more. It's just so hard, you know, to tell the girls that you know they didn't make the team, but knowing that the talent is there, the talent is so rich. We have a rich, you know, girls full of skills, and the passion is what really we see in these girls, and that's really what you want. So I think the next 5 years, it's going to kick off with these girls that we have now, leading to the national side, and there's a good range of other girls coming up, you know, from universities, which is quite good. And we really want to thank universities for the good job that they're doing, you know, feeding off to the national side. You know, at the moment, our senior team is solid, led by Bongem Somi and Carla. And I know that they're leaving a mark and they're leaving a legacy for all these girls, and they know when they take that step one day into the national side, they're going to continue just building up the good performance and keeping the national flag up there. So it's great. I'm actually excited, and it will be nice to see what happens in the next 5 years. I really think we're going to be in the top 3.
Oh, okay, in the world.
Definitely.
I like that. I like that. I'm also excited. I'm excited for netball in South Africa to grow, and I'm excited to see your work with the Athletes Commission under the KZN Sports Confederation. Yes, thank you once again for allowing us your time. We truly do appreciate it. Continue being you, continue growing, because it's inspiring to everyone.
Thank you so much. Not forgetting all the sponsors that have made netball grow so drastically, making sure that even under the pandemic we still play leagues, we're still protected, and you know, making sure that you know that the sports continue. So thank you so much to all the sponsors. I won't name all of them in case I missed. And continue writing that line under netball, and don't